Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
What does the mother not like? So the mother did not like when the people would say that the poetess looks like a. What were the mother's feelings before the birth of the poet? So what and how did the mother feel before the birth of the poet? Before the birth of the poetess was a nebulous wish for her mother. The mother would stroke her through her flesh. She would see her in her daydreams and she would see her, she would imagine her the way she wanted her to become. And how did the feelings change over the years? So after the birth, how did the feelings change? After the birth of the poet, she became a reason, a tangible joy, a tangible hope and a palpable joy for her mother. Something that the mother could feel, something that the mother could touch and hope for. What do you think has led this to the change? Now, why did this change over a period of time? Why was there a change? Why did the mother not feel happy when she would listen to the fact that the poetess was like her? Because of the generation gap. Because the mother wanted her daughter to be, exactly as per her wishes and expectations, which the poetess could not fulfill, and this is what made the mother sad. Both the mother and daughter are unhappy. Pick words and phrases that reflect this. So what are the phrases and the words that show that both of them are unhappy? I do not think this pleases her, so this is why it is being unhappy. Then obviously in this stanza the poet has talked about entirely she being unhappy. It would anger me to unreasoning hatred. I would weep in wild frustration, hopeless tears. This is what she says, and then yes, these are the words that convey that both the mother and the daughter were unhappy. Okay, complete the summary of the poem by filling each blank with one word. So the poet feels that although the people find a lot of, what was there? Similarity between her mother and her, the mother is not pleased or is not happy about this. However, the poet does not blame her mother. She feels they have learned to respect the space. The poet feels this similarity is because the mother has invested a lot of emotions in her. These had begun even before her birth. After she was born, the mother felt more strongly before her birth. She was just so before her birth, what was she? She was just a nebulous wish. After she was born, the hope became what did the hope become? A tangible or a palpable joy, or you can write a palpable joy. The mother saw her in her. Where did the mother see the daughter? The daydreams. Imagining her to be the way she wanted to see her. The distance is the mother's dreams and the reality evokes. How did the daughter become? Evokes unreasoning hatred in the daughter. So the daughter became very, very, upset about it. She wept in, how did she weep? She wept in wild frustration. She felt helpless because she could never be the child of her mother's dream. Yet, despite this, there is a lot of her mother in her, just as her daughter has a lot of. Okay. What do you think is the mood of the poet, and why do you think so? So the poet is obviously very upset. She is very sad because she is regretting on the fact that she could not be the child of her mother's dream. And how can we say so? Because of the expressions that she has used throughout the poem. She has again and again talked about the fact and highlighted the fact that when the people say that she looks like the mother is obviously not very happy about it. Okay. What do these lines suggest? But we've learned, she and I, to live in our own mirror. So to live in our own mirror means to live in our own space. To have a life of our own, to have a personal space of our own, we both have learned to accept each other the way we are. Because before my birth, I was just a nebulous wish in her. So before the poetess was born, obviously she was there inside the mother, an unhazy living being whom she could not see, whom she could not talk to, and could only convey her emotions deep inside, could only convey her love to that nebulous being through her own flesh. She has stamped herself soul deep in me. Stamped herself soul deep in me means whatever I am today is because of my mother. This is what the poetess feels. It is only because of the mother that the poetess is present, both physically and is emotionally stable. It is through the mother's soul only. It is her mother's presence that she feels deep inside her, because after all, she is and was and will always be connected to her mother. Okay. What does the poet call the phantom child and why? So the poet is referring to herself as the phantom child, as the ghost child. Why did she say that? Because according to her, whenever she looks at her mother and she feels the unhappiness that the mother has for her presence, that obviously makes her feel very sad, and she thinks that she's some ghost child whom her mother does not like and does not approve of. Do you think the child of the mother's dreams and the reality are different? Yes, indeed. The child of the mother's dreams, as it has been written in the poem, in her dreams she would imagine her the way she wanted her to be. And in reality, the poetess has told us in the third stanza, last 3 lines, that I cannot become what she wants me to be because I don't want to be that kind of a personality. Before the birth of the daughter, the mother had dreamt of an ideal daughter. How do you think her dreams were different from reality? So obviously, before the birth of the daughter, the mother wanted her daughter to be exactly like her, to be exactly the way she wanted her to be. She would always convey the good things. She would always pass on her best wishes and her bestest, her best love to her daughter, feeling that the daughter is going to inculcate each and everything and will turn out to be the child of her dreams, but in vain. That did not take place because the poetess was born with her own personality and with her own desires. Make a list of 5 things that your parents expect of you. How many of these do you fulfill, and what are the ones that you don't, and why don't you? So this is a home task for you. You have to make a list of 5 things that your parents want you to do. How many of these things do you do and why do you not do the rest of them? You have to write it. Okay. Read the lines from the poem and answer the questions that follow. I know why I look a lot like my mother. She's put much of her into my making. After my birth as well as before. More after my birth, because before my birth I was just a nebulous wish in her. So what does the poet look like? Like her mother. Why does she resemble her mother? Why does she look like her mother? Because she came into existence because of her mother only, because she was connected to her mother before her birth. What words show that the mother was looking forward to having her baby? So how can we say that the mother was very excited to have a baby? Because before my birth, I was a nebulous wish in her. Nebulous is something which is not clear, and wish is something that you want, that you dream of. So this clearly tells us that the mother was looking forward, was wishing for the child inside her. What is the mood of the poet? So in these lines, we can say that the poet is very grateful to her mother. She understands that the mother has took a lot of efforts to bring her into existence and she owes a lot to her. Sometimes I would see the phantom child and it would not anger me to unreasoning hatred. I would see in the things she'd say, why aren't you, why can't you, why do you always, why do you never? And I would weep in wild frustration, weep hot and helpless, hopeless tears. Hopeless because I would recognize even then my invulnerable rival, my little enemy. Who is the phantom child? The poetess calls herself as the phantom child. How does the mother react to her daughter? So how does the mother react to her daughter? She obviously had a lot of complaints with her daughter. She wanted her to do a lot of things. She wanted her to become how she wanted. How does the daughter feel? She obviously felt very bad, frustrated, helpless, hopeless. She used to cry. And who is my little enemy? Who is this my little enemy? Obviously, this refers to the thoughts that were there in the minds of the daughter that prevented her from becoming what her mother wanted her to be. So, remember, after this we had a few more lines in which the poetess has explained that how can I become that she wants me to be? How can I become what she hopes me to be? So this is what the little enemy is. So you see, I look a lot like my mother. She stamped herself soul deep in me with things that are of hers and things that are of hers and did not want to be. Yes, I look like a lot like my mother and my daughter looks a lot like me. So what words show that daughter is essentially like her mother? Essentially, again, how can we say that she is like her mother? The word she stamped herself soul deep in me. Stamping something, we all know, the exact copy of something. So this is how we can say that. How does the poet view these resemblances? How does the poet, feel, or what does the poet feel about the similarity between herself and the mother? So according to the poet, obviously, she feels that they resemble because everything that she has inside her is because of her mother only, and that is why they resemble each other. What does the poet say about her daughter? The poet tells us that just like she is like her mother, similarly her daughter is also like her. And what is the poem about? The poem talks about desires, the expectations, the wishes that every parent has in their child, and the sadness and the disappointment that the parents feel when they fail to relate themselves to the child, when the child does something against their wishes. So this is what the poem about, and with this, my dear students, we come to the end of this chapter. We've explained to you the whole poem, every word, line, every phrase has been explained to you well. The back exercises have been discussed, so I hope that the poem is very much clear to you. I'll see you all now in my next lecture. Thank you.